Have you ever nicked your ball sack? Ow! Manscaped's Lawnmower 2.0 was specifically designed to make manscaping easy. I'm talking butt, balls, body. Featuring skin-safe technology, this trimmer won't nick or snag your nuts. 100% waterproof and shock resistant. Head over to manscaped.com and get yourself the Lawnmower 2.0. And for a limited time, get free shipping and a free Shed travel bag.
Hello, Lakers Nation. My name is Trevor Lane, senior writer for LakersNation.com, and this is the Lakers Nation newsfeed, your home for Lakers news and analysis. Today, we're talking about a story that might make Lakers fans feel a little bit uncomfortable regarding the future of Anthony Davis, but we'll dive into it and explain why you shouldn't worry too much about it. Well, maybe a little bit, but not too much. But first, quick shout out to our sponsor, Uptime Energy Drinks. So energy should feel. You can find them at 7-Eleven, GNC, and Amazon.com. How energy should feel. Uptime Energy Drinks did get me through what was a difficult NBA offseason. One of my favorite products out there. So make sure you go check them out, Uptime Energy Drinks. Okay, so recent story in the New York Post by Mark Berman. Pretty good story. It was all about Kristaps Porzingis and why things didn't work out with the Knicks and how the trade went down with the Dallas Mavericks and all that sort of stuff. Why the Knicks still made the right move, according to Berman, in trading Porzingis, even knowing that they didn't land a Kevin Durant. They didn't land Kyrie Irving like they were rumored to. They didn't get those stars, and now they're kind of in a rough spot. And he throws in this line at the end. The very end, he slides in this little line that had to make Lakers fans feel a little bit queasy. Here it is. The 2020 free agent pool is short on stars, but they could be one of the favorites for big fish Anthony Davis if the Lakers implode. Rich Paul, Davis's agent, likes the idea of his client in New York, according to a source. Yikes. Okay, so for the Lakers, who just gave up a ton of assets, right, in order to get Anthony Davis, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, $1 billion first-round picks, all of these things to get Anthony Davis. And now we're hearing that he might be interested in the New York Knicks. I mean, it makes a little bit of sense, right? Because the Knicks were rumored to be one of the teams on Davis's list when he wanted out in New Orleans. The Knicks were on the list, the Lakers were on the list, the Bucks were on the list. He had all these different teams that he would consider going to, and the Knicks were one of them. So we know there is some interest there. But from the Lakers' perspective, that can't feel good. Hey, Davis already has an escape plan that Rich Paul kind of likes, that he likes the idea of his client being in New York, which, again, big city, big market, makes a lot of sense there. But I'll say this, expect it. Expect these types of stories to be coming out. Every time anything happens with the Lakers, anytime there's any little hiccup over the next season, until the ink is dry on Anthony Davis's Lakers contract in July of 2020, this is going to happen. You're going to hear these types of stories. There's no getting around it because Davis is going to be a free agent. And let's face it, next summer's free agent crop is not good. Draymond Green is no longer part of that free agent class because he signed an extension with the Golden State Warriors. So what was already an extremely shallow free agent pool is now looking even more shallow. There's just not a lot out there. And so Anthony Davis is going to be the target that a lot of teams are going to be going after. Now, Rich Paul liking the idea of him in New York if the Lakers implode. That's a big if, right? We can't overlook that and just say, oh, Anthony Davis has interest in the Knicks. Yeah, he probably does. Does that mean he wants to actually leave the Lakers? No. It's saying if the Lakers implode. And what exactly does implode mean? And of course, this is an anonymous source, but does implode mean not make the playoffs? Does it mean not get out of the first round, not get out of the second round? Not win a championship? Does implode mean that, I don't know, Linda Rambis and Kurt Rambis staged some bloody coup on the Lakers front office and we go Game of Thrones style, and next thing you know, there's a huge power change in there, and the Buzz family is out, and now it's the Rambi running the Lakers? Is that the definition of implode? Obviously, there's some extremes in here. What does that really mean? What does implode mean to Anthony Davis? We don't know that, okay? But the bottom line is that Davis is looking at an out just in case. And really, he should be. We should expect this type of thing because things have not run smoothly with the Lakers lately. Things have not gone as according to plan. I mean, look, they'd planned to sign Ty Lue as their head coach, and now the Lakers have Frank Vogel. They thought Magic Johnson was going to be running the show for a while, and then he abruptly quits. Things have not been smooth in Lakers land. All right, now things have gotten better, that's for sure. Okay, this offseason they get Anthony Davis, they get DeMarcus Cousins, things are kind of turning around, all of that, things are going well. But if you're Anthony Davis, don't you want to kind of have it out? You want to have an escape plan just in case? We also need to consider this, though. Rich Paul is not just Anthony Davis's agent, he's LeBron James's agent as well. Look, Rich Paul is not going to steer Anthony Davis away from LeBron James if he can help it. If there's anything that he can do to make sure that that duo works out, it's going to happen. Okay? So don't panic over this. Again, expect the Knicks and expect all these other teams that have cap space, and there's just a few of them next summer. Expect the Hawks, right? If the opportunity comes up to go get Anthony Davis, they're going to try. They're going to go for it. They're going to do everything they possibly can to get AD. And look, Anthony Davis, for his own credit, right? He has not said that he will stay with the Lakers. He had the opportunity to do that several times in different interviews, and he declined to do so. He deflected the question. He talked about just focusing on this year and wanting to win this season and all that sort of stuff, and that he would deal with next summer when next summer gets there. That kind of makes it a story, but at the same time, reality is, even if AD came out and said right away, I'm going to stay with the Lakers, that wouldn't make the story go away. Okay, if the Lakers lose, say 5 games in a row, that story would pop up again. People would start asking him, hey, does this change your thoughts on the future with the Lakers? Because it's going to be on people's minds. It just, that's the way it is. That's the nature of the beast. People are going to be wondering where AD is. Let's not forget, Kyrie Irving told the Boston Celtics back in October that he was staying, and then just a few months later, it was pretty clear that was not the case, and he was going to leave. So just because Anthony Davis didn't say, I'm staying, doesn't necessarily mean he's leaving either, okay? And just to calm everybody down a little bit on this story, I want everybody to stop and think about what Anthony Davis went through to get to the Los Angeles Lakers. It's not likely he's just going to bolt, because think about it. He issued a trade request through Rich Paul. First of all, he changed agents knowing he was probably going to leave the New Orleans Pelicans, switched agents to go with Rich Paul, a guy who could probably get him where he wanted to go. Then he issues a trade request to the New Orleans Pelicans a few weeks before the trade deadline, goes through all the trade rumors. The trade doesn't go down. He winds up spending the rest of the season with New Orleans, dealing with all of that uncertainty, dealing with the chaos, dealing with all the questions that were coming up about him and his future in New Orleans. And then on top of all that, he was doing things behind the scenes to make sure that no one else could trade for him. Right? He made sure the Boston Celtics, who had a bunch of assets who could potentially beat the Lakers with an offer, he made sure they knew that he would not stay there. He would not stay with the Boston Celtics, and that cleared the way for the Lakers to swoop in and grab Anthony Davis. So you look at everything he's gone through, all the drama, all the attention, the spotlight being on him and what's happening with his future, to get to Los Angeles, that's a guy who's going to stay. He's not going to just spend one season in LA and then say, oh, you know what, it wasn't my thing, see you later, after all the effort it took to get there. Okay, unless things go really, really, really bad. We were talking about it would have to be catastrophic implosion for Anthony Davis to take off. Okay, and if that happens, of course, it behooves Rich Paul to have a backup plan, just in case, because you never know. Look, sometimes the best laid plans don't work out. Lakers fans know that all too well. They had Dwight Howard, Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol, and that team somehow didn't find success. You would think that would work, and it didn't. Ended up being a catastrophe. Sometimes the best laid plans don't work out, and it's good to have a backup plan. So don't look at this and think, oh my gosh, Anthony Davis is already looking elsewhere. He's going to leave. Look, it's a nightmare scenario. I get it. If the Lakers parted with all those assets, including future picks, and Anthony Davis walks away this next summer, that will absolutely hurt the Lakers franchise immeasurably. It will set them back years, if not maybe a decade. It would be a brutal blow to the franchise. Let's not kid ourselves here. But again, when you look at everything that Anthony Davis did to get to Los Angeles, it doesn't seem like he's a guy who's just going to take off. Okay? It makes sense for him to have a backup plan. It makes sense why stories like this would come out, to give hope to fan bases that need it, to give hope to teams that have cap space. They're going to want to have stories like this out and about, floating around there. Expect more of this. but it doesn't mean Anthony Davis is leaving the Los Angeles Lakers. Pump the brakes on that. Nothing is done until it's done, until that ink is dried on the contract in 2020. But again, right now, most likely, heavily likely, Anthony Davis stays with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now they just have to go out and have themselves a good season and make sure that that is the case, that he does wind up sticking around. All right, guys, for more on this story and everything else going on in the world of the Los Angeles Lakers, head over to LakersNation.com. And hey, you know what? Shoot us a follow on social media at Lakers Nation on Twitter and Facebook, at Lakers Nation Official on Instagram. And then don't forget to go subscribe to our Lakers Nation YouTube channel. All kinds of great video content coming out on there. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can find me at Trevor_Lane or on Instagram at TrevorLaneNBA. Till next time, see ya.